A wealthy television producer buys 10 condemned prisoners and takes them to a remote island where they must fight against each other to death. And only the sole survivor of this competition will gain freedom. Hello and welcome to IM Movies. The movie begins in a Salvadorian military prison where Brecht's crew member Baxter meets a prison warden to scout for condemned prisoners who can fight. The warden takes them to the top of the prison where they record a strong Arab prisoner beating 3 other prisoners. Later, Baxter pays the warden off for the Arab. At Brecht's control room, they're getting ready to broadcast a show worldwide. Soon, Brecht's girlfriend, Julie, informs him that Donna Sereno, a journalist, just arrived to interview him about his show. Sereno asks Brecht what he intends to do and how he plans to put it out. Brecht tells her that he has pulled 10 death row contestants from third world prisons for a fighting chance at a new life. Sereno disagrees with him and tells him that it's immoral and illegal. Brecht gets angry, and as he decides to leave, his workers Bella and Eddie approach him and tell him that their headliner, the Arab, is dead. Brecht walks into the control room and asks that they find him another Arab fighter. Eddie and Bella give him several options, but he insists on having an Arab fighter. Soon, Eddie informs Brecht about an Islamic fundamentalist in a Salvadorian prison. Brecht seems interested and asks that they put him on. At the prison, the wardens place Hashim, the Islamic fundamentalist, Jack Conrad, and another Mexican prisoner against themselves for Brecht to watch. The Mexican prisoner attacks Hashim, but Hashim knocks him out with one strike. Soon the warden throws a key at Hashim to free himself. As soon as Hashim frees himself, he approaches Jack, but Jack quickly knocks him out cold. At the control room, Brecht is impressed as he asks to know about Jack. Bella tells him that Jack is an American that was arrested 1 year ago in Salvador for killing 3 men, and he's awaiting a death sentence. Brecht tells them that he wants Jack and orders them to bring him immediately. At the island, Brecht approaches Jack and tells him that he and the rest will be taken to an island where they'll kill each other. Later, Baxter addresses the 10 fighters, which include Jack, Yasantwa, Peter, Dominic, Creston, Saiga, McStarley, Helmut, Paco, and Rosa. Baxter informs them that the rig on their ankle packs 20 ounces of plastic explosive that will automatically go off after 30 hours. The only way to survive is to win the contest, and any attempt to pick the lock will lead to death. As they fly to the island, Jack studies the operation site and the pilot's navigation. Soon, they begin to put keys in each fighter's mouth and drop them from the helicopter. Dominic refuses to take his key, and as they drop him, he falls on a wooden structure and dies. Brecht is upset and warns them to watch where they drop his fighters. It gets to Jack's turn. Baxter asks him to open his mouth, but Jack hits him instead. Baxter gets angry and pushes Jack off without giving him the key. Jack lands on a sandy area and rolls over several times. Later, Paco uncuffs himself and begins to search for Rosa. Soon, Brecht gets his first action as Yasantwa gets attacked by Helmut, who tries to have his way with her. But she fights him fiercely and stabs him with a sharp log. She activates his ankle rig and he explodes. At the control room, Brecht and his crew celebrate the action, and Eddie announces that they've got 5 million people logged in, but Brecht tells them it's a start. Goldie asks him what his target is, and he says 40 million viewers, just like the Super Bowl. Later, Jack ambushes Paco and they start to fight. Jack chokes Paco and he begs for his life, saying he's only looking for his wife, Rosa. Jack releases him and Paco shows appreciation by giving Jack the key for his cuffs. Meanwhile, Creston attempts to remove his ankle rig and gets a warning. Soon he sees a camera watching him and he breaks it. Later, Creston sees a helicopter drop a bag and he runs to get it. Creston opens it and finds water, food, and a knife. As Creston admires the knife, Saiga attacks him and they begin to fight. Later, Creston covers Saiga's face with a net, then runs away. As Saiga chases Creston, he bumps into McStarley. McStarley asks Saiga to team up with him to kill the others, and he agrees. Meanwhile, as Jack navigates through the island, Peter confronts him. Jack tells Peter to slow down, but Peter attacks him and they begin to fight. Soon they both begin to roll down a steep slope as they struggle with each other, and later realize that Peter's rig has been activated. Jack quickly pushes Peter off, and he explodes. Brecht and his crew celebrate yet another death as Eddie announces that they now have 12 million viewers. Meanwhile, an FBI agent named Wilkins begins to investigate the show, trying to find their location. He finds out that Creston and Jack are Americans. Later, Agent Wilkins contacts Jack's girlfriend and tells her about the ongoing show. Sarah drives to a nearby bar and asks her bartender friend for a computer. Sarah logs in and sees Jack on the show. At the island, Paco and Rosa reunite, and as they begin to get romantic, McStarley interrupts their romance, Paco and McStarley begin to fight while Saiga attacks Rosa. Paco beats McStarley to the ground and hears Rosa crying for help. As Paco looks in her direction, McStarley breaks his knee with a log and cuffs him to a tree. McStarley tries to touch Rosa, and she fights back, but they abuse her and make Paco watch. Back in the control room, Julie and Goldie are getting sick of the show, but Breck is enjoying it. Breck asks Goldie to get more footage angle of Rosa's abuse, but Goldie tells him that's all they've got. Then Breck orders Eddie to get the live unit to the area to film it. Soon, Julie tells them to stop it, but Breck tries to condemn the fighters, stating that they are criminals on death row. Goldie can no longer take it and decides to go out for fresh air. Then Breck asks Eddie and Bella if they are enjoying the show, and they say yes. After abusing Rosa, McStarley activates her ankle rig and she explodes. Then they realize that Paco has escaped and they begin to look for him. Later, Jack finds Paco crying. Paco tells Jack how they killed Rosa and begs him to avenge her death. Later, Yasantua attacks Creston and they both start to fight. Creston pins her down and tells her to calm down, saying he only wishes to get the rig off his leg. Yasantua agrees and he let her be, but Breck is disappointed. Later, Jack helps Paco move to another area called the Japanese Ruins. Jack tells Paco of his plan to make a call. Meanwhile, Breck secretly tells Baxter to drop a bag of weapons for McStarley with a message for him to go to the Japanese ruin. Later, Jack uses a metallic plate to cover his ankle rig to hide his GPS location, and soon he vanishes on Eddie's radar. Immediately, Jack begins his mission to get to a phone as he climbs a rope to cross to the other side of the island where Breck and his team operate from. Meanwhile, at the FBI headquarters, two senior agents tells Wilkins to drop the investigation. Wilkins reminds them that 2 American citizens are involved, but they tell him it's an order from the Pentagon. They tell Wilkins that Jack had gone to El Salvador off the books as a black ops after retirement to destroy a drug trafficking gang, but was later caught and imprisoned. At the control room, Goldie panics as he could no longer track Jack's movement. Breck tells Goldie to relax as Baxter promises to find Jack. Jack arrives at the workstation as Baxter and his men venture out to look for him. Soon, Jack chokes the security to death and sneaks into the security control room, knocking out another man. Later, Jack calls Sarah, and she scolds him for leaving her for a whole year. Jack apologizes to her and asks her to write down his account number, saying he'd saved up money and wants her to have it. Sarah begins to cry and tells him that she wants him and not the money. As they continue to talk, Baxter's search party returns and informs Breck about the security breach. Goldie and Breck come out and sees Jack making a call in the security tower. Meanwhile, Sarah tells Jack about the ongoing FBI investigation and asks Jack to give her his location. Jack uses a computer to find his location. However, Breck instructs Goldie to quickly switch off the generators. This way, Jack could not finish giving Sarah the full details of his location. Jack attempts to leave, but Baxter shoots at him, so decides to jump off the tower into a nearby bush and runs away. Immediately, Sarah calls Agent Wilkins and gives him the information she got from Jack. Wilkins informs his superiors about it, convincing them to consider Jack's loyalty and service to the country. Meanwhile, Creston and Yasantua become friends. Yasantua begins to massage Creston, but he refuses at first, telling her how he was once betrayed by a lady. Soon, Creston lays close to her as she pets his head. Later, he sees that she's gone, and soon realizes that he'd been betrayed once again, as he sees that Yasantua had activated his ankle rig. Eddie and Bella watch Creston's explosion in excitement. Goldie walks in and tells them to change the scene. In the next scene, they see Paco being tortured by Saiga and McStarley. Goldie walks out of the room disgusted and Julie follows him. Outside, Julie sees Goldie vomiting and she tells him that they need to stop the show. At Breck's office, Julie accuses Breck of manipulating the show, but Breck defends himself and brags about the millions of people watching it. Goldie also tells Breck that it's too much for him and that he can longer bear to watch. Breck tells them that he only wants to entertain his audience. Breck tells Goldie that he's ungrateful for how he has made him rich and asks him to decide whether to stay or leave. Goldie chooses to stay and finish the show. Breck gets up and hits Julie in the face for confronting him. Meanwhile, Paco continues to moan in pain as Saiga and McStarley torture him. Jack arrives and tells them to stop, but McStarley uses a bow to shoot Paco in his chest, killing him. Then Saiga pours alcohol on Paco's body, and McStarley set him ablaze with his cigarette. The next day, Saiga and McStarley wait for Jack to return. Jack sees them from his hiding spot and arms himself with iron rods, fitting them to his arm using duct tape. Later, Jack attacks Saiga, and they begin to fight as McStarley watches from a distance. At the bar, Sarah and some of her friends watch Jack and cheer for him as he fights. Jack beats Saiga mercilessly, but McStarley joins in and tries to kill Jack with his arrow, but misses as Jack runs into a cave. Come on! Soon, Yasantwa attacks Jack holding a knife to his throat. They both begin to struggle, but Yasantwa gets shot in the back. Saiga lits up a bottle and throws it into the cave as Jack tries to save Yasantwa. Jack discovers a tunnel and tries to take Yasantwa with him, but she refuses. Yasantwa activates her ankle rig, and Jack Lee jumps into the tunnel just before it explodes. Everyone thinks Jack is dead. Soon, Saiga and McStarley face each other as the last survivors. McStarley shoots at Saiga several times but misses as Saiga runs away. Soon, Jack attacks Saiga, and they begin to fight fiercely, but McStarley joins in to fight Jack. Soon, McStarley and Saiga team up again to fight Jack. Jack kills Saiga and McStarley runs away. Jack chases McStarley to a rocky area and confronts him, but McStarley quickly jumps into a river, and Jack follows him. Later, a helicopter drops another bag of weapons. Jack runs towards the bag, but McStarley gets to it first. In the control room, Goldie confronts Breck about helping McStarley throughout the show. Soon, McStarley sees Jack coming and shoots at him, but Jack quickly ducks and hides behind a rock. McStarley runs out of bullets and Jack takes the chance to run. Soon he reloads and continues to shoot at Jack, hitting his knife as he dives into the river. The live team gets to the area to cover the action, but McStarley sees them and kills them. Later, Jack attacks McStarley from behind, and they both begin to fight. McStarley manages to cut Jack and quickly take his gun to shoot, but Jack falls on rocks as he tries to dock the bullets and falls dead into the river. Sarah cries bitterly as Jack is declared dead. Breck's interview with Sereno plays on TV and everyone watches. Sereno tells the viewers that after her interview with Breck, she was angry at him, but after seeing the number of people paying to watch it, she realized the true nature of people, leaving a question of who is condemned, the prisoners or the viewers. Wilkins' superior tells him they've finally found the island, but Wilkins tells him it's too late. At the control room, Eddie tells Breck that they've finally hit 40 million viewers, and Bella congratulates him. Soon, Baxter tells Breck that they've been found by the US Navy. Breck connives with Baxter to leave the rest behind, but Goldie notices their conversation and confronts him. Breck promises to give Goldie $1 million to keep quiet, but he fumes at Breck, claiming they agreed on 5% of the profits, which is in several millions. But Baxter hits Goldie and slits his throat as he begs. Soon, McStarley arrives at the station, and Breck tells him he's now free. McStarley asks Breck to pay him, but Breck tells him he'll get nothing. Luckily, Jack survives the falls and gains consciousness. Later, Breck goes to meet Julie, but she won't let him come close to her. Breck leaves and assures the rest of the crew that he'll be back. Soon, McStarley attacks the men watching him and proceeds to kill the rest of the crew one after the other. Later, Jack arrives at the station and sees one of the security guys lying on the floor. Jack checks to see if he's still conscious, but Baxter points a gun at him. Breck thanks Jack for the show, but Jack tells him the show is not over yet and attacks Baxter, killing him as Breck runs away. Meanwhile, McStarley is still on his killing spree. He kills Eddie, and as he proceeds to kill Julie, Jack appears behind him and tells him to sit down. McStarley begs Jack to spare him, but Jack kills him right there. Meanwhile, Breck runs towards his helicopter as Jack and Julie chase him. Jack shoots at him and runs out of bullets. Soon, Julie gives Jack a rig, he activates it and throws it into the helicopter. Breck tries to pick it up, but his seatbelt holds him back, and it explodes. Days later, Sarah sees Jack standing outside her house. This movie delves into the dark and disturbing world of a deadly reality show orchestrated by the rich. It explores themes of morality, entertainment, and human resilience while posing thought-provoking questions about the consequences of our media consumption and the lengths people are willing to go for power and profit. If you like this video, share and like to help this channel out. Thanks for watching, and see you at the next one.